Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I'm your host, Joe Zollo. We are ending our ADP values and busts with rounds 13 through 16. The meat of the lineup. Just the league savers, some might say. You could find some gemstones back here. I know Ryan's going to hype up one guy that he's been hyping up all offseason. But for the most part, you are looking for depth pieces, and maybe you might find a diamond in the rough to consistently put in your lineup. But we're going to help you find those best values in the guys. Well, there's a reason that they're in the 13th or 16th rounds, and those are the guys you want to avoid. We're going to talk about them starting right now. Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. Just myself and Ryan, the two best that we have to offer here at Club Fantasy. Got the other guy off the stream. Was he working? I don't even know what he's doing.
I assume so. Which one of us pays attention when he talks?
None. So that's why this is the best show right here. When you just have these two, it's a great show. Luckily, I have the week off from Banana Balls, so I'm able to be here, and I'm happy about that. So
would have been
we're gonna dive into.
If it was just me.
No, that would be a horrible show. We don't want that.
I've done it, and it is a terrible show. So
yeah, Jamie says on a Tinder date.
Ooh,
that's bold of you to think Josh dates.
Oh my God! For a second, I thought Jamie was on a Tinder date, but now I'm picking up what we're laying down here. Josh is on a Tinder date.
Josh is on a Tinder date.
All right, get it, Josh. Get it.
Or be a respectful gentleman. Grinder was an absolute fire comment. Nice. Clip it. All right. ADP values rounds 13 through 16. Again, most of these guys, it's really hard to we were thinking, should we just name this value? Should we just name this values? Because how can you bust in the 13th through 16th round? They're already bad.
Weird to call these guys worst value. I was able to find one for every round though. So
they're definitely there. Whether that be personal grudges, whether that be we just plain don't like the player,
or we love the player and he's unemployed. Later, more on that later.
Yes, more on that later. But before that, some NFL news. A lot has happened.
Lots of NFL news,
specifically in the Big Apple for the New York Jets. They have signed Garrett Wilson to a contract extension. $90 million guaranteed, fourth most ever to a wide receiver, 32.5 AAV. It's the fifth highest for a wide receiver. You know what I'm happy about? He didn't reset the market.
Nope.
Garrett Wilson's not the best receiver in the NFL.
Got what he deserved, didn't bitch about it.
Yep. He's not the best receiver in the NFL, but if you wanted to tell me that you had Garrett Wilson as a top 5 receiver in the NFL, sure. I'm not going to argue with you on it. That's a fair assessment. So, also the NFL GMs came out. I don't know if we saw this. NFL GMs came out and said that they ranked their top 10 receivers in the NFL. Why is Tyreek Hill 3?
Oh, wow. I mean, he has a skill set nobody else in the NFL has, so I'm guessing the GMs are just respecting the fact that they have to plan for him, but he's not that anymore.
CeeDee Lamb was below him.
That's terrible. That's just terrible.
Yeah. Puka Nacua, not even in the top 10.
Interesting. So they're looking at him as a system wide receiver.
It blew my mind.
I'm going to go look this up because this is super interesting to me. We could do a whole show about this.
They were just talking about if we want to talk about it. Yes. If you can find it
I meant later. No, let's do what we're
I was going to say because listen, 13 through 16, how much fun stuff is there to talk about in these rounds? But it is very interesting that I will look it up and bring it up. We can talk about it later in the show. Sauce Gardner as well. The Jets broke out the pocketbook. Yeah. Virtually the same deal as Garrett Wilson. 4 years, 124 for Sauce, $60 million guaranteed in new money. He now has just over 85 guaranteed total. 30.1 million AAV. That's the highest for any cornerback in NFL history.
I know the Jets went on a hell of a draft run. Did they get Wilson and Sauce in the same draft?
No, I think
because they were both first round. I was gonna say okay, so they just paid them back to back. Okay,
yeah, I believe they were back to back picks.
So who got paid early? Was it because Wilson was due. So they must have paid Sauce a year early, maybe.
Honestly, it makes sense. Where are we? Franchise tagged. Trey Smith signs a 4-year, $94 million deal, makes him the highest paid guard in the NFL. And it was the last day to avoid playing on the franchise tag, so the Chiefs got that in under the wire. Camp holdout. Terry McLaurin wants a new deal, reportedly there, but no new discussion in over a month. That's no fun.
I feel like Garrett Wilson sets a good precedent for McLaurin. I feel like they deserve. McLaurin's obviously a couple years in on Wilson, but I feel like they deserve similar money. So McLaurin might ask for a little bit more than what Wilson got AAV, but I think he also deserves one less year AAV, so that'll be interesting.
I agree. Chargers, Mike Williams set to be in camp on the PUP list, as previously mentioned on a show that we recorded for the Chargers. Jordan Addison, oh boy. 2024 DUI citation began on Tuesday, could be facing a minimum of a 3-game suspension. And Quinshon Judkins, arrested in Miami over the weekend on a domestic violence charge.
Yeah, details coming out on that are not great.
It's not hard, guys. Just don't. Like it's super easy. I can't tell you how easy it is to like sit inside and like play video games. I can't stress the easiness.
I mean, I don't know. There's no defending what Judkins did if everything is true, and it's just bonehead moves by rookies.
It blows my mind every single time. It doesn't make any sense when these things come out. So again, nothing is official. We don't know what happened. Innocent to proven guilty, but as of the current moment, it is not looking great for Quinshon Judkins. So just understand that. Before we dive into 13 through 16, welcome back questions. What up, Spock? Oh, okay. Speak of the devil. Mixon in a 2026 second or Quinshon Judkins. So he has Mixon. He would be acquiring Quinshon Judkins and giving up Mixon in the 2026 second. So obviously Judkins was taken with a first round pick.
Yeah,
this is a 12-team super flex. I would be shocked if he fell.
Super flex, Judkins would have been probably 7, 8, 9, maybe 6.
So that would then leave him with Bijan, Josh Jacobs, Quinshon Judkins, Javonte Williams. I wouldn't do that with the current state of Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, there's so much that could go into Judkins. I don't like to spend a lot of time talking about this. We're not legal experts. We're certainly not experts as to everything else that's going on in this. But Judkins could end up following a similar path to Kareem Hunt. And Kareem Hunt fell off the map quick, and Kareem Hunt had already had an established year. So making this strictly about fantasy football, which is always weird, Judkins is a very, very red flag commodity, and I don't think that I'm making this deal.
I agree. I'm not making the deal right now. I have Quinshon Judkins on my team in Dynasty, so it's not a fun spot. And then another one, I think this is a different league, 14-team Superflex, traded Cup in 2 first-round picks for Puka Nacua. Win or loss. That now puts him with Puka Nacua, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Jerry Jeudy. It's an old wide receiver lineup.
Yeah, outside of the Puka Nacua. 2026, by most metrics, people are saying is not a great draft class. Everybody kind of says that now. We'll see what happens when they all declare, and whatever happens. Because it's a super flex, giving up an early pick for a wide receiver, how's his quarterback situation? Allen, Stafford, Dimes. I'm going to call this as even gets, because you need a quarterback next year, and that early pick could have been used on a quarterback.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I don't hate the acquisition of Puka Nacua, Josh Allen, Matt Stafford, totally fine. And hey, at this point, Daniel Jones might start 12 games this year. So
am I an idiot? Who is Cuffs before Puka?
No idea. No idea. Just didn't even.
I'm clearly an autocorrect, but I don't know what it is. So
missed that. All right, let's dive into the rounds here. Here we go. 13. Or let me start here. My apologies. Question for the panel, because I got yelled at the other day for not reading everything on the show sheet. How do you attack the later rounds in drafts? I think we have very different approaches on the attack in later rounds, but
Yeah. So for me, I will tell you right now, I do not draft tight end. Excuse me. Sometimes tight ends. I do not draft defense or kicker. So I go into rounds 13 through 15, 16, whatever. This is where I get weird. And Joe's right because of how my strategy is. So when I don't draft a defense or a kicker, the idea is I'm going to use those roster spots and do a trade after the draft. Nobody is trading me for 13 through 16. They let these guys go for 13 rounds. I need to find guys in this round that I want on my roster, because what I'm looking to do is take my 7th and 8th round pick and turn them into someone's 4th round pick. So that is my strategy here. When I get to these late rounds, I am looking for guys that are my 3rd and 4th wide receiver, or excuse me, 4th and 5th wide receiver, 4th and 5th running back. I am not going for handcuffs. I am not going for usually old and busted. I am going for high upside guys that I may start at some point this season. As an example, 3 years ago, my 14th round pick in every draft was Puka Nacua, because I had a feeling about this kid and it worked out really well, except that in one round or one draft, I dropped him, and that was a keeper league. And that is the biggest regret of my entire life, because I could not get a trade done. So
I got Puka off Fab, which is great for me.
amazing.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I won the league that year, unsurprisingly, but got him. My approach, I will say, I play in a lot of IDP leagues, so I don't need to worry about the team defense and kicker. I do draft team defense and kicker. I will traditionally go the defense first, because to me, the kicker is, at the end of the day, you can still get a good one. If I'm at the back end of the last round, I maybe go kicker first, then defense. How I draft my defenses is I look at the week 1 matchup. I am not because the Eagles defense is going early.
Coming up later in the show, by the way, Josh had me research it, so that there we have a segment for that to end the show.
I can already tell you my 3 teams I'm drafting.
Tell me, because I want to know if they made the. Well, let's.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there. But I do that because I know the Eagles defense is gone.
Yep.
I know, again, I'm just naming historical defenses that went early. The Niners, the Ravens, those big defenses, those are someone takes them in round 11, round 10, they reach for them. I am playing the week 1 matchup. That is exactly what I am playing, because I know at the end of the day, I'm just streaming the defense.
And to sneak peek later on in the show, I have 4 defenses that are draftable for their week 1 matchup. And then I think I have 5, Joe, that are not even being drafted and that are the perfect streaming options. So that's where it gets very interesting. And I'll make sure I have the week 1 schedule pulled up so I can tell you off the top of my head. But here we go. Round 13, starting with, Marquise Hollywood Brown at wide receiver 60. Bryce Young, quarterback 23. Matt Stafford following him up. Austin Eckler, RB 48. Tank Bigsby right behind him. Isaiah Likely right in the middle of the 13th round at tight end 17, followed by Kyle Pitts. Cedric Tillman, Geno Smith, Cam Ward, Tyler Algier, and rounding out round 13 is Kyle Williams. This is unsurprising to anybody who has watched this show since, I would say, late November of 2024. Week 8 last year. Well, okay, no, yeah. It took some time. You're right. It's November. So yeah.
I was about to say, yeah.
Because he had to establish what he was doing. So
yeah, around that time. So the best value in this round, again, we're going to go best and worst. And as always, positivity. We will start with the best. Unsurprisingly, Ryan put Bryce Young.
I've been screaming it from the mountaintops for as Joe mentioned, what is that? 8 months now. Bryce Young, something clicked for him after week 8 of last season. Bryce Young was one of only, if I remember correctly, 3 quarterbacks to score a touchdown in every game from week 8 on. The other 2 were Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. So I'm not saying Bryce Young's those 2, but he showed some consistency. And what I would remind people of, yes, it was a rocky beginning of the season. But what I would remind people of is we love what Dave Canales can do for fantasy quarterbacks. And now he's shown it. So the stats that I would point out is from week 8 to week 18, Bryce Young was the QB 11 in fantasy. They had a weird bye, week 11 bye. From week 12 to week 18, Bryce Young was the QB 6 in fantasy. I don't know that he's going to come out and be a top 10 quarterback this year, but for this late in the draft, if you're one of those people that just wants to wait till the latest possible time to grab a quarterback, I am not afraid, Joe, to start this season with Bryce Young. And the last point I'll mention is this is an offense that came from Tampa Bay a few years ago. They didn't have the pieces to match what Tampa Bay did. I love Teteroa McMillan. I think he could be a Mike Evans light. It's going to take a little while for him to get it going because it always does with these big wide receivers. But now you have Teteroa McMillan, you have Xavier Legette, and you have Adam Thielen. Jatavian Sanders flashed a little bit at tight end, and Chuba Hubbard looked good out of the backfield. This is a super interesting offense to me. Bryce Young is a guy that I am willing to start week 1 next year.
And I would join you in saying that I would be okay with starting Bryce Young as well. I would agree on the best value if I had to just pick somebody else. I don't hate Geno Smith. His best seasons ever were under Pete Carroll, and he has Pete Carroll as his head coach again.
And a weapon that he arguably has never had anything.
Never had.
Yeah.
And Jacoby Myers is
now.
a slouch.
Yeah, I was going to say, and 2 now when you think Ashton Genty to go along with Brock Bowers. So
yeah. The offensive line, not great, but he's used to that. It's Bryce Young in this round, but if I had to pick somebody else, it would be Geno Smith. I would be probably not week 1 because it is in New England, but I would be okay starting Geno Smith in certain matchups and rotating him into my lineup. So if you're in a 14 or 16 team where it probably is wise to maybe go pick a backup quarterback because waivers will be very thin if you're streaming, I like Geno Smith as a rotational fill-in piece. That's basically what you're getting in this round. Yeah. Worst values. I saw earlier in the week, it was a different guy, which I'll talk about because duh. You switched it to Isaiah Likely. This is interesting.
Yeah, honestly, I was just going to go with the fact of we're drafting backup tight ends now. Like, I understand Likely
we are.
Popped in week 1 against Kansas City. But then when you look at what he did for the rest of the season, Isaiah Likely finished as the tight end 16 with 123 fantasy points. 26 of those 123 came in week 1. He only hit double digits twice more, week 13 and week 16. Oh, I apologize. I missed week 5. But again, he probably wasn't on your roster. From week 6 to week 13, this was his fantasy scores. 4, 3, 8, 0, 9, 0. What a stretch. And I understand everybody wants to bury Mark Andrews. I defended him on the show we did together 2 weeks ago for this exact type of thing that I thought he was a value. Isaiah Likely has potential as a wide receiver. Mark Andrews is the tight end here. And Likely isn't going to get enough run with Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and now you throw DeAndre Hopkins into the mix. I understand DeAndre Hopkins is a wheelbarrowed out corpse at this point, but still he's going to get playing time, and that's going to come at the expense of Isaiah Likely. I'm not drafting backup tight ends ever.
No shot. Isaiah Likely wasn't good outside of week 1. He had one other good week, I think, maybe in like week 12 or 13.
Yeah, what I would call a good week. 5 for 38 and a touchdown. No, he did not have another good week. Not one. His best week fantasy point wise, you were right, Joe, was week 5, he had 3 for 13 yards, but 2 of his 3 catches were touchdowns. That's not a good week. That's a lucky week. Week 13 was 5 for 38 and a touchdown. Again, that's a tight ends are top 10 because they score a touchdown week.
It is what it is.
He did not have another good week the rest of the season. 9 for 111 and 1. And that is because Baltimore is not stupid and saw what Kansas City was giving them and said, we're just going to keep taking it until you stop giving it.
Yeah. Jamie asking Chuba or Kenneth Walker at the same ADP.
See, that's tough for me. Walker feels like the better commodity, and now you have an offense that's going to cater itself to running backs, but Walker also has more competition. I'm going Walker. I have a soft spot for Walker, plain and simple.
If you are drafting this to be your RB1, Chuba. If you are drafting him to be your 2 or 3, Walker. Because I don't want my RB1 missing 5 games.
I see what you're saying there. That's actually a really interesting point. I didn't quite follow until you said that, and I'm actually on board with that now.
Skill base, Kenneth Walker. Not even a question.
That's really fair.
How I'm going to draft, I am drafting Kenneth Walker. That's my home run piece as my RB3 or my RB2. 100%. But if you're going to go receiver, you better, unless you have two receivers you can guarantee me are playing 16 games and are locked in.
Got to go Chuba Hubbard at that point.
Then you have to go Chuba, because then you're number one running back. Unless you're going to go three straight backs in the third, fourth, and fifth, your RB1 is very susceptible to missing a lot of games. So,
yeah. That's a really good point, Joe. I would have never thought of it that way. So I'm glad you said that. That's an interesting point.
See, that's why
it's a good one.
I'm up here with it.
You're a great drafter. There's no denying. I've drafted with you. You're a great drafter. Unfortunately, those players just don't always shake out the way you expect them to. So
correct. I am normally this is my bread and butter is rounds 9 through 12. That's where I make my money.
The show I missed.
Yeah, I always find good players right in there. Caesar says first start shit show is gonna hit like crack. I'm gonna miss like the first 5 weeks of starts.
Oh. So now you're gonna have Josh putting me on the spot, trying to get me to cover for you.
Well, your boys in Texas calling tailgaters games all September. So,
let me show my ignorance. What are tailgaters? Is that has to do with the bananas?
The Texas tailgaters, baby. Gator up. Yeah, one of the teams. It's just one of the teams for a banana ball. Jamie, would you consider Terrence Ferguson? I don't even know who that is.
They drafted him in the second round, I believe. I would consider him the starter. I think Higbee's washed, just my personal opinion. I don't have him much ahead. I have him like 5 targets ahead right now, but I would consider Ferguson the starter. But Jamie, I'm not drafting either one.
I don't have a tight end from the Rams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's irrelevant. What would you guys pay pick wise for Arroyo and a tight end premium 12 team?
Arroyo's interesting, but they did bring Fant back. I was going to say, because it's tight end premium, if you believe in Arroyo, and there are people who do, a third round pick is fine. I'm not going to a second. Yeah.
A third's fine. Yeah, I mean, if you could squeak a 4, awesome. But like a third's fine.
Yeah. If you could go a 4 and a piece, like whatever you were going to cut for Arroyo, start with that. They may laugh you out of the building, though. A 4 is usually not that enticing.
No, not at all. All right, round 14. Here we go. Now we started off with a pretty good one. Hunter Henry, tight end 19.
Yeah.
Can't complain there. Jalen Wright, RB 51. Romeo Dobbs, wide receiver 63. Quentin Johnson, wide receiver 64. Sam Darnold, quarterback 27. Xavier Leggett. Jack Beck. How do we say his name?
I have been saying Beck this entire time, but I'll be honest, I don't know. Someone in the chat will tell us.
I've been saying Beck as well. Brenton Strange at tight end 20, Adam Thielen, Zach Ertz, Braylon Allen, and rounding it out, Mr. Rico Dowdle. A lot of Carolina Panthers down here.
This is where everybody's like, yeah, we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, we'll test it out. This is unsurprising. It's hard to not disagree in these rounds with who the best values are. If we can find 2 of them, then
yeah, I was going to say, Joe, when I was putting mine in, I was like, I'm kind of picking Joe's people, but I don't know that it's a terrible show where you and I just kind of hype up the same guys either.
I can't name you a single other guy I want in this round. That's straight up. I cannot name you another guy I want in this round. So yeah, Hunter Henry is a smash pick in the 14th round.
So Joe, you and I talked about this a few weeks ago when we were doing a show together. Josh McDaniels' offense. Tight end friendly, people.
Loves the tight end. If we haven't noticed, loves the tight end.
Hunter Henry is coming off of an excellent season. Now, the thing with Hunter Henry as of late, his excellent seasons are coming in spurts. And what I mean by that is he scores a lot in a few weeks and kind of goes off and on. But last season was interesting. Only 2 touchdowns scored. That is not very Hunter Henry like. 97
the whole
targets.
Offense was bad in getting in the end.
97 targets, caught 66, 674 yards, finished as the tight end 12. With Josh McDaniels in town, there's no reason to think those 97 targets are going anywhere, but there's certainly reason to think that Hunter Henry, a guy who has scored a lot more than 2 touchdowns, just about every year. He's had one other 2 touchdown year, coming off of a 6 touchdown year. There's a lot of reason to think he can score more touchdowns while carrying the same volume. And so, Joe, Hunter Henry comes in as my tight end 9. And again, this is a thing where if I didn't land one of the first 2 tight ends and I can wait until the 14th round and walk out of my draft with Hunter Henry, I'm telling you right now, if I walked out of a draft with Bryce Young as my starting quarterback and Hunter Henry as my starting tight end, I'm not upset at that draft.
He's gonna get laughed. He's gonna get laughed out of the building in an F- rating from the ESPN draft guide, but
I'm going to be salivating at the running backs and wide receivers I took instead of quarterback and tight end in the earlier rounds. So I just think Hunter Henry, and you're going to be able to speak to this a little bit better because of you being a Patriots fan. I just think Hunter Henry is a top 10 tight end threat every year, and now he's in an offense that's going to maximize that.
His 1 year with Josh McDaniels, no Tom Brady. His 1 year under Josh McDaniels with no Tom Brady was 2021. He had 75 targets, 50 catches, 603 yards, and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah.
9 touchdowns. Fun fact. 9 touchdowns. That was 4 more than the next closest guy, which was Kendrick Bourne. He was second on the team in targets behind Jacoby Myers, who had 51 more targets than him, which, again, unsurprising, the slot receiver in a Josh McDaniels offense gets a lot of targets. Oh, and who's second? The tight end.
I was going to say, then I'm sure a running back was up there as well. So,
you want to know the running back with the most targets? Brandon Bolden.
Oh, yeah, that year.
So that's for those that think Ramondre Stevenson's going anywhere.
Not happening.
Brandon Bolden started 1 game and led running backs in targets.
Yeah.
Started 1 game.
That could be Travian Henderson this year, folks, and Ramondre Stevenson's going to be just fine. So.
Yeah, because Damian Harris had 15 rushing touchdowns on 929 yards.
It's an exciting offense, Joe. Like
also, Ramondre had 606 yards and 5 touchdowns that same season.
That's funny. As technically the 3rd running back because the pass catcher was somebody else, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's wild. And that to go back to Hunter Henry, he was the tight end 10 that year on 75 targets, folks.
50 catches. He was the tight end 10.
Yeah.
And Mac Jones was his quarterback. McCorkle.
Yeah. And not even last 4 weeks at Jacksonville, good Mac Jones. This was bad Mac Jones.
Ooh. Not good Mac Jones. Okay. Worst values. What more do we need to say about Adam Thielen? We just put this guy out to pasture. Send him back to Mankato. Like, he's done.
Joe, I'm going to interrupt the show real quick because I've never seen this before.
Yeah, repost.
Twitter gave us a thing that said someone retweeted
Shout
our
out,
thing.
Jeff.
So thank you, Jeff. And I've never seen that before. That's cool. So
shout out, Jeff.
Thanks.
I don't know how much you want to talk about Adam Thielen here, but he's dead. He's
and
dead.
So that's again, Joe. This goes back to what we were talking about. How I draft these late rounds. I'm not drafting Adam Thielen to be the wide receiver 30 at best. Like this does me no good. At no point, Joe, you said this. We were recording a short episode yesterday, and you talked about, I don't even remember who it was now, but you're like, at no point are you going to want to start this guy. At Quentin Johnston. At no point am I starting Adam Thielen this season. It's not happening. You look at this offense, and you have to expect. They've been drafting so well lately. This offense needs to run through these running backs, and then through Tedero McMillan, through Xavier Legette, and through Jatavian Sanders. Adam Thielen is going to have a role for 1 more year. I just don't see it being a very healthy fantasy role, and you're wasting a draft pick, plain and simple.
There will be points in time where someone's going to drop Adam Thielen because he does nothing. Panthers receiver gets hurt. Thielen has a good matchup. He's a good plug and play for the week.
Yeah.
That's what Adam Thielen is right now at that point in his career. He is.
Yeah. If Jatavian Sanders were to get hurt, Adam Thielen gets more interesting. It's like the opposite of T. Higgins and Mike Gesicki. You need the tight end to get hurt for Thielen to be more interesting.
For Thielen to make sense. Yeah. Because Thielen is no longer the 1 or the 2.
He's the big slot receiver in the red zone. Yeah.
Yes. That is exactly what he is. And he's a good little red zone threat, but you're not
100%.
You're not taking a red zone threat in the 14th round to rotationally play. Like that's not happening.
Yeah.
Moving on to round 15. Oh, baby. Jalen McMillan, wide receiver 68. Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receiver 69. Mike Gesicki, tight end 22. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback 28. Oh, baby. Nick Chubb, hello. Roshan Johnson, Cade Otton, Demario Douglas, Joshua Palmer, Chickazimo Okonkwo, and Dylan Sampson.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. And one more. Alec Pierce, was moved on to the next page. Alec Pierce.
I didn't
ends
even
the
see him when I
round.
was. That ruins my joke later because I didn't see him when I was doing my thing either. But we'll get into that in a second.
That's fine. You have the best values in. Well, I'm happy you didn't take my guy, but you say Wan'Dale Robinson.
So I've been on this for a while. Wan'Dale Robinson had the quietest 140 target season of any human being ever. Maybe last year, Wan'Dale Robinson as a wide receiver too. I'm like, why can I not find his stats?
What was his yards per reception
2021
though?
It was awful, Joe. It was the weirdest season. I'm getting there. Give me 2 seconds. Wan'Dale Robinson, 140 targets, 93 catches, 93 folks. Joe, what is the least amount of yardage you would expect from someone with 93 catches as an NFL wide receiver?
Like realistically, or like what I think Wan'Dale
if I told you a guy had 93 catches, no. I told you a guy had 93 catches. How many yards does he have?
Gee, I mean, he had 93 catches. I would say 1,300 yards.
699 yards, half of what you expected.
7.5
yards per catch, and only scored 3 touchdowns. Wan'Dale Robinson matters in one format only, folks, and that is PPR, not half PPR, not any sort of weird full PPR, or somehow wide receivers are getting more than a point. That is the only place that Wan'Dale Robinson matters. They are going to improve at quarterback this year, but the fact of the matter is this: they made next to no changes to their wide receiver room, and they're not changing their offense at all. So their wide receiver room is Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson in the slot. They are still weak at tight end. I'm hoping Theo Johnson takes a step forward. I'm hoping we see Tyrone Tracy see a few more targets this year. But the fact of the matter is this: there's no reason to expect Wan'Dale Robinson to come out of this season with any fewer than 120 targets, probably catching 80 of them. And you hope the yardage goes up with the better quarterback play. In PPR, Joe, this is what I'm talking about. I have no issue in full PPR starting Wan'Dale Robinson as my wide receiver 3 or flex. So this is a pick I will make, knowing that I plan on taking a running back and a wide receiver that I drafted earlier and combining them into hopefully a better running back or a wide receiver in a trade. These are the kind of things I do in fantasy drafts.
He had 93 catches, and he never went over 71 yards in a single game. 93 catches.
Wan'Dale Robinson was the guy years ago, and shout out to Linda G. Lindellians, who put this in my head. Linda is tall. Linda is 5'9", maybe 5'10". Linda said that she doesn't draft wide receivers who are smaller than her, and I have now made that my thing as well. But Wan'Dale Robinson, he was the first one, Joe. I think he's, if I'm correct, 5'8", 165. Wan'Dale Robinson is literally a gentleman who is waiting to get murdered running over the middle, but
he's 5'8", 185. He is.
Oh, he's a little heavier than I thought.
He's 2 inches shorter than me and about 10 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is hilarious. Like he had 2 games where his yards per reception were over 10. One was 10.2.
2 games.
2 games. His best game of the season came championship week when no one had him on their freaking roster, but he was 5 for 71 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's a good. That's a 19-point week. That's a good week for little Wan'Dale.
Yeah.
Too bad it didn't matter. He never had a yards per target over 10 outside of that week. Wow. That is the ugliest 93 catch season ever.
And so what I said about Wan'Dale Robinson is you are not drafting, and Joe obviously just pointed this out, you're not drafting Wan'Dale Robinson for ceiling, folks. You are drafting Wan'Dale Robinson for floor. If you are cool with 10 points out of your flex every single week, Wan'Dale fucking Robinson.
That was Khalil Shakir for me last year. He was
100%
every week, and I was happy. I knew I put him in my lineup like 10 points. Maybe he catches a touchdown.
I'm going to see what I can find on that because, Khalil. Yeah. Oh, my God, Joe, they were right next to each other. Wide receiver 36, Wan'Dale Robinson. Wide receiver 37, Khalil Shakir.
The same person. Except Khalil Shakir was more consistent.
Missed 2 games, so.
Yeah. My guy, again, we're putting a lot of faith, but I am trusting that Josh McDaniels makes every slot receiver on planet Earth the greatest slot receiver in the NFL.
I was shocked to see him down here.
I am perplexed that Demario Douglas is going after Nick Chubb and Cade Otton.
Yeah.
I know in my home leagues, that's not the case. Demario Douglas in my home leagues this is no joke, is a 7th round pick.
I was going to say 7th or 8th round.
I am not sniffing Demario Douglas. That guy is so far away from my rosters in my home leagues. But all the other ones, Demario Douglas will be on my roster. Yeah. Now, I am putting a lot of faith because this guy is the epitome of all potential. We've seen it a little bit.
Yeah.
We've seen him do some stuff. We've not seen him string it together. We've seen him get hurt. The last time Josh McDaniels called an offense in New England without Tom Brady, because again, that's the biggest caveat, without Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
Jacoby Myers at 126 targets.
Yeah. Well, Demario's another one, Joe. Like, I wouldn't want to start him as my wide receiver 3 week 1, but if he's my wide receiver 4, I'm comfortable with that. I can make some decisions after 3 weeks and see where we stand. I love that. And you're not betting on the player, you're betting on the role.
I'm betting on the offensive coordinator. That's really what I'm betting on, is the offensive coordinator. And then worst values here.
Well, I wanted to just say something about this round, though, Joe, because I was a little taken aback when we were looking at this round. Jalen McMillan has a little bit of sleeper potential if you believe he can still outperform Emeka Egbuka. Obviously, nobody does. Aaron Rodgers was the QB 15 last year. Nick Chubb is still Nick Chubb, and now he's in like a timeshare, which could help his efficiency.
It'll help him.
Roshan Johnson is probably the RB2 behind DeAndre Swift. Things can happen there. K-Dot, we have our feelings about K-Dot.
Garbage.
But this is the guy who I thought we needed to talk about, Joe. Josh Palmer is a guy we adore. And there is a world where he is Josh Allen's wide receiver 1 this season. Khalil Shakir probably keeps the high volume role. But what if he doesn't? What if Josh Allen wants to sling it? Guess who he's going to sling it to? I love Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman is a 50-50 ball guy, and that's not what Josh Allen is trying to do.
Josh Palmer's a burner.
Josh Palmer is a burner. And then the last one I'll talk about, because of what we talked about earlier in the show, Dylan Sampson needs to be on people's radars now because there is a very good chance to start the season. It's Dylan Sampson and Jerome Ford in this Browns backfield.
God, Jerome Ford again for just no reason.
That'll come up later in the show because he's one of my favorite values because of this. So,
Jerome Ford. Talk about horrible efficiency.
Jerome Ford's nickname should be JAG because he is just a guy, plain and simple. So,
I mean, his yards per carry in some games, this is no joke, was 1.8.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How are you employed in the NFL?
I want to throw Steven up here real quick.
Yeah.
I adore Keon Coleman.
We love Keon Coleman. He can't separate.
Steven, you've watched the show before. 6'5" wide receivers. That's my type. So
he needs a man in finance, 6'5", blue eyes.
Exactly. Yeah. I am all about Keon Coleman. There are separation issues. Separation issues has not stopped George Pickens, and I hope it doesn't stop Keon Coleman, but I need to see it first. So it hasn't stopped George Pickens from being a wide receiver 30.
No. You're not going to find me hating on George Pickens.
Okay, that's true.
George Pickens has some of the best hand-eye coordination I have on these circus catches I have ever seen.
It's wild.
The over-the-shoulder sideline grab where he's like, I know he can't see the ball. I've caught a football in a helmet. Yeah. You can't see the ball. He is fully projecting where it's going to be and has the sideline awareness to get 2 feet down, drag out of bounds. His body control is insane. His 50-50 chances is not as good as a guy like Drake London or anybody like that. But I would put his body control and sideline work against anybody in the NFL and would rank him easily inside the top 5.
Yeah, 100%. But again, we are not an anti-Keon Coleman show at all.
No.
It's very hard to bet on him right now.
He can't separate. That's all. Drake London can't separate either. But Drake London's 50-50 balls are 90-10. So it doesn't matter.
There is no 50-50 in Drake London.
His jump ball catch percentage is like 70%.
Yeah, we looked that up on that one episode.
Unbelievable. That's Calvin Johnson levels of jump ball percentage. So, yeah, that's Keon Coleman. Just if he can get to that point,
I hope he does. Like I said, big Keon Coleman.
Power to you. We love Keon Coleman. Guys who we don't like. Worst value is Mike Gesicki when T. Higgins is in the lineup.
And again, I would actually probably go back to Alec Pierce. I did not realize Alec Pierce is here either. But these are what I like to refer to as... Or K-Dot belongs in the same grouping with what I'm about to say. You're wasting your pick. You are not starting Mike Gesicki. You are not starting Cade Otton. You are not starting Alec Pierce. I guess if you believe that Alec Pierce, what he was doing last year is his new role, and he's just going to be this deep threat. But the fact of the matter is this, there's a good chance it's Daniel Jones starting, and Alec Pierce is worthless. Worthless, I think, if Daniel Jones is a starter. But these two tight ends, Joe, Gesicki and Otton, you are throwing away your pick. You do not want to start them week 1. You do not need a backup tight end. Let them go to waivers. Find somebody else.
I'm not going to add. It's the 15th round. I'm not going to add anything more. Spock throws another one in. Three 2026 seconds or a late 2026 first. That would leave him with, if he does it,
I see.
a 2026 first plus 3 2027 first, which is the draft you want the first rounders in.
Yeah, that's great. So I have a theory on this. I don't remember the podcast anymore. Someone a while ago, it may have been BDGE, talked about fantasy managers' hit rates on first round dynasty picks and how we're terrible. We're terrible at what we're spending our first round picks on. I would rather have 3 bites of the apple in the second round than 1 bite at the end of the first round. I'll take the volume there.
Speak for yourself. My first round picks have been pretty damn good.
I'll give you that, Joe. You're probably better off having a first round pick. That's absolutely true. But statistically, we're hitting like 50% of our first round picks in Dynasty. Like, it's just, we're not good at projecting. We think we know better than the NFL. And a lot of that, Joe, probably has to do with, we do our Dynasty drafts days after the NFL draft starts. We don't know all the issues that can crop up between now and training camp. And I mean, obviously it's a long-term thing, but again, the statistics show fantasy and dynasty managers are terrible with first round picks, and you want more bites at the apple.
I also think you could flip those 3 seconds for another first in 2027.
I say, and if you're 2027, if you need the 101 in 2027, Jeremiah Smith is the prize. That is all that matters right now.
The best part is he doesn't even need him because he has ARSB, Puka, Nico, and AJ Brown.
Let me be clear. You always need Jeremiah Smith. There were analysts last year that think Jeremiah Smith would be a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL right now. So the kid's good.
Yeah. Hey, some NFL analysts also thought that Anthony Richardson was a top 5 quarterback.
Let's also be clear. We are hyping the hell out of a freshman, and everything could blow up in our faces. So
before I again was watching Get Up this morning, when the question is posed to you, best offseason acquisition for an NFL team, like who do you think is the best offseason acquisition? How are you answering that question? Like, what does offseason acquisition mean to you?
Trade or free agent signing. So, like, I can't tell you exactly. DK Metcalf comes to the top of my head. I feel like
Pittsburgh got I don't need an answer. I don't need an answer. I will say somebody brought up a coach, which I was like, that's valid because like they thought it was going to change the trajectory, help with these certain guys. I was like, I don't love the answer, but that's fair. I hate that this guy still is on ESPN airwaves. Mike Tannenbaum, a horrible GM.
Yeah.
One of the worst GMs in NFL history, which is why he's not an NFL GM anymore.
That's why he's on ESPN.
They posed the question to him and everybody in the panel, but he was the first one to answer. What was the best offseason acquisition? He said Omarion Hampton. I'm like, that's a draft pick. That's not an offseason acquisition. That's a draft pick.
Yeah.
That's 2 separate categories, Mike.
Yeah, we talked about that in May.
So stupid.
Yeah.
Such an idiot. Anyways, round 16, final round that we talk about. Justice Hill. Hell yeah. RB 57.
Hell yeah.
Mason Taylor, tight end 25. Hell yeah. DeAndre Hopkins, where receivers go to die. Baltimore.
100%.
RIP. The whitest black guy. Pat Bryant. You can't tell me that guy literally
the blackest white guy, Will Shipley. Oh wait, there was a player in between there.
Jerome Ford, your guy. Yeah, Jerome Ford.
Guy.
No, Will Shipley's a white name. Let's get that. Will Shipley's a white name.
I was just having fun.
Yeah. Keenan Allen. Sure. Sure. Pat Freiermuth, Marshawn Lloyd, Anthony Richardson, and Daniel Jones back to back.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
I love that. And then ending it with the training camp darling every single year, De'Ami Brown. Could he have a
De'Ami
role? Is going to be great. 5th on the depth chart.
Yeah.
De'Ami Brown is awesome in July, guys. Let me tell you, he's the best receiver in the NFL in July.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to spend a ton. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this because the fact of the matter is he is only the best value in this round because of very, very unfortunate circumstances.
Because of legal circumstances currently.
Yeah, but you can't ignore Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford last year, as Joe mentioned. What's interesting, Joe, is you mentioned he had some terrible games. He actually averaged 5.4 yards per carry for the season.
Which
in
is
14
insane.
games, only managed 3 touchdowns. But why I am super interested in Jerome Ford, even if Quinshawn is, again, I don't want to spend too much time on it. 43 targets, caught 37 balls for 225 yards. I don't know that Dylan Sampson's going to be ready to take over this role. I don't know that they're going to hand this role to Quinshawn Judkins. I expect Judkins to be the runner. I think Jerome Ford has some PPR appeal. He's not Rachaad White. Let me be very clear. The Browns offense is not the Tampa Bay offense. But with everything going on in Cleveland, you can do worse in this round than Jerome Ford. Going back to what I said, if Jerome Ford was my RB5, I'm not going to be that pissed about it. And it gives me the ability to make some trades later on. Getting into this round, it was a little hard to find a value, but with what's going on, you can't ignore Jerome Ford right now.
So I will say, the year I'm thinking of is 2023. Last year, he was a little bit better in terms of yards per carry. He averaged 4 yards per carry in 2023.
Yeah, he was awful. And that was when he was in the timeshare with Kareem Hunt.
Yes. Here's the thing. Week 1, 2.4 yards per carry. Week 2, 6.6 yards per carry. And that's all because he had one big run.
Yep.
Week 3, 1.8. Week 4, 2.9. There's a lot of 2s and 1s in his yards per carry than there are 4s and 5s.
You should hear that once for a bad game for a running back, not multiple times in a season.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times his yards per carry started with a 2 or a 1.
Eek. That's bad, folks.
That's why I don't like Jerome Ford.
And it's so fair. The Browns line is progressively getting worse. The Browns team is progressively getting terrible. Also, you could talk me out of Jerome Ford as easily as you could talk me into him, but 16th round, I'll take a flyer.
Yeah, with what he's, I completely agree. He's 5'10", 210 pounds.
It's a tank.
Figure it out. Figure it out. It makes no sense.
Hold on. I got to throw Steven up here. Not high.
No.
Not high on Ford. 16th round.
Good value.
What's going on in Cleveland? He feels like a value. I like Sampson as well. And I said 2 rounds ago, I think it was, you can't ignore Dylan Sampson either. So
if this whole thing did not come out with Quinshawn Judkins, the best value.
I don't pick Jerome Ford here at all.
No, not at all. The best value in this round, Marshawn Lloyd. Probably.
Marshawn Lloyd's interesting. Mason Taylor, if you believe that that Justin Fields will use his tight end, Mason Taylor should win that job easily. And I really liked that kid during the combine process. So yeah,
Jerome Ford is strictly just because of circumstances right now.
Yeah.
And then the worst value, this is the layup of all layups. We love Keenan Allen.
There are no 2 fantasy football hosts that work together that adore Joe. In one league only traded Keenan Allen to me because he knew I would cherish and take care of him.
Correct.
This is how we feel
Sent
about
him out
this
to pasture.
Yeah. The man doesn't have a job, folks.
He doesn't have a job.
Why are we drafting? Keenan Allen should have no ADP. In my football guys rankings, Joe, I literally put, I don't rank wide receivers who don't have jobs. When he signs somewhere, I will rank him.
It's giving Randy Moss when he was unemployed after his years with one season with the 49ers. People are like, oh no, he'll come back.
Yeah.
Guys, we're drafting Randy Moss in the 10th round. I don't think he's coming back. And if he does, he's not Randy Moss anymore.
And that's the next part I was going to hit. As someone who has respected Keenan Allen's game for the last 10 years, he's not really Keenan Allen anymore. I don't know if you guys saw the camp stuff last year. First of all, the receding hairline was telling. Shave your head at that point, bro. But he also was starting to look a little bit too much like me when it comes to body build. He was a few Big Macs away from a tight end. We cannot have that. I don't care how great you are at route running. Keenan Allen's not long for the NFL. And that is someone, like I said, adored Keenan Allen. From the day I think he and DeAndre Hopkins actually came into the league the same year. I pointed at those kids and said, you watch out. And it wasn't hard, but I was right. So
love Keenan Allen.
Love him.
It's just
don't draft him.
There's no reason to. There's absolutely no reason to. All right. We are now into the end of the show.
Yeah.
And the question is defense, special teams you're targeting in drafts here.
Yeah.
And
did your 3 make my list?
My number 1 made the list.
Okay.
Which is why don't I why would I want to take the Broncos defense, Ryan? What would be my one reasoning blanket statement that I always say?
Rookie quarterbacks playing in Denver for their first game ever.
And Cam Ward has to do it on his first game?
And Cam Ward has to do it in his... when I say first game ever, I mean first game ever in Denver. Cam Ward also has to do it in his first game as an NFL pro.
Thank you. And also, the Broncos have a good defense, too. That's not like it's not a bad defense.
The Broncos have the best corner in the NFL and maybe the best rookie corner in the NFL. The Titans have Calvin Ridley. That's it. That's who they have. The Broncos have safeties in Hufanga and linebackers who can shut down Chigokonkwo. So
Nick Bonito can rush the passer. Like
it's
also shout out my guy Zach Allen for finally getting recognition. He made the top 100 players list for the NFL this year, first time ever.
You know
shout
what?
out Zach Allen.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, Joe. Week 1, Tennessee at Denver. 34-7, the Denver Broncos win. I'm calling it now. That's going to be the final score.
Broncos are number 1 defense that week. They're picking off Cam Ward 2 times and returning 1 for a touchdown. It's not even a question. You said they'll cost you, but their early schedule is
so the thing is, Denver is...
will.
No, they will. So Denver is pretty well respected as a top 5 defense when it comes to ADP so far this year. They came in as my defense 1. The ADP right now on Fantasy Pros isn't showing defenses all that well, because even the top defense is like outside of the top 160. The number 1 defense is the Denver Broncos, and they're showing us pick 169. That's not going to happen, plain and so. It's because they only get their ADP from RT Sports for defenses. So there's just not enough details on defenses to know where they're going to go right now. I think Denver, Joe, is going to be the team that's going to cost people an 11th or a 12th round pick this year.
All right, fair. My ones that I like outside of Denver, because Denver's by far my number 1.
Yeah.
Going into week 1, if you can't get Denver, Jets playing Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Lock. That is in New York. Lock. Screw you, Aaron Rodgers. Commanders against the Giants.
Yep.
Easy. Those are my top 3.
And they made my list.
Yep, they made your list. And the one right outside of that is going to be, I just lost them on the schedule here. I'm going to regret saying this. The Cincinnati Bengals.
They're on my list, Joe. No. Okay, so let me break down my list. These 4 teams are in my top 12 overall. And what that typically means to me is they're worth a draft pick if you're going to blow a draft pick. And that is obviously the Denver Broncos. They are my number 1 defense. They're everyone's number 1 defense, and they have the easiest schedule. I don't have it in front of me, but even their next 3 weeks are good. You're not afraid to start the Broncos, and that's important. Joe and I have talked about this. Who was it we talked about, Joe? Eagles. You don't want to start them week 1 after you spend a draft pick on them. I can't remember who they're playing, but it's something like that. Mm-hmm. The Vikings are at Chicago. The Vikings had a very good defense last year. We don't know if Caleb Williams is ready to improve. We hope, but it's their first week with a new coach. A lot going on there. Vikings had a pretty solid defense. But in that same game, Joe, the Bears get Minnesota, where we know nothing about JJ McCarthy. I'd be willing to start either of those 2 defenses. And then you got the 49ers traveling to Seattle. They do have to face the 12s, but they get Sam Darnold, and you get a team that has an older Cooper Kupp and players that the 49ers have dealt with. So those 4 are all in my top 12. But instead of drafting any of those, except for the Broncos, if you can get them cheap, do what Joe said, wait and stream. These next 6 teams should all be available after the draft is over. The Miami Dolphins get the Colts. We know what's going on with that quarterback situation. As Joe mentioned, the Jets get Pittsburgh. The Cardinals get the Saints, another team with a terrible quarterback. I wish this game was in Arizona. I'd be way more comfortable with it, but it is in New Orleans. But I'm still going to, I'll gamble on it if I have to. Joe brought up the Commanders get the Giants, the Bengals get the Browns. And then the last one I'll bring up, Houston's offense was not that great last year, and the Rams get a home game against Houston. Now we could argue, do the Rams ever actually have a home game? But a home game against Houston, I think the Rams have done a great job of getting after the quarterback. They're the last one on this list for a reason, but they are the last one that I would look at in week 1 and be like, I'm willing to stream that team.
Yeah. Steven asked a question. Do you prefer 3 receivers and 3 flex for Dynasty Superflex, or 3 receivers and 2 flex?
We actually talked about this with Hutch last night. So
yeah, I mean, you can. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I think you should only allow 1 quarterback like Superflex spot. And at that point, you're gonna. The more people you can put in your lineup, the better. I think it's more interesting that way.
So me and Joe are that way. Josh hated. I think it was Josh on last night's show. No, Joe, you were kind of against it because that was where Hutch was making jokes about having to start Jalen Reagor, and you just weren't.
Well, that's just why would you ever start Jalen Reagor? Like, that's just stupid.
So, Steven, to get analytical with this, if it's a 10-team 3-3 feels fine. If it's a 12-team 3-3 feels like you're pushing it. You're starting arguably 72 wide receivers at that point, and that is just too damn much. So if it's a 10-team 3-3 is okay. If it's a 12-team, I'd probably lean 3-2. But me and Joe, or especially me, start as many as you can. I love lots of starters. I love shallow benches, though not shallow benches in Dynasty.
Just make them all flex spots so you can either start tight end, running back, or receiver in those areas. It makes it much more even.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying get rid of the wide receivers altogether?
I have a league. It is a quarterback, 5 flex spots.
Okay.
IDPs.
I like what we do in our Dynasty League where we have to start 1 running back and 1 wide receiver, and then the rest is flex.
And that's fine, too.
Yeah.
That, if you wanted to go 1-1-1 with quarterback, running
and
back,
even
wide
tight
receiver,
end.
tight end.
And even tight end, yeah, exactly. And then
that's fine. And then you want all that's fine, too. But if you really want to make it a little interesting, like, just make them all flex spots.
Yeah, like I said, inevitably, if you go 3-3 and it's a PPR, which you said it's he wants us to actually answer full PPR or half PPR. I'm usually
full PPR.
Yeah, full PPR just makes a ton of sense at this point.
Do you hate points? Like, what? Do you hate points?
Nah, full PPR is fine. I understand the rise of half PPR, but full PPR is absolutely fine. But inevitably in full PPR, if you go 3-3, there's going to be multiple teams starting 6 wide receivers, and it makes for some interesting decisions for other teams.
Yeah. All right, we talked about it at the beginning of the show, and I want to bring this up because we do have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
The execs, coaches, and scouts rank the top 10 receivers in the NFL. I want to bring this up because I think this list is I think there could be some things done to it.
Yeah.
Number 1 is Jamar Chase. Yeah.
Lock
it. Not even a question. Last year's ranking, he was number 3. This year, he's number 1. Justin Jefferson, number 2. Last year, he was number 1.
Yep.
Yeah. Fine. 1-2.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill is number 3.
No.
Last year, he was number 2. So they only dropped him 1 peg. CeeDee Lamb, number 4. Stayed at number 4. He was number 4 last year.
That is a flat out mistake. CeeDee Lamb should be ahead of Hill.
AJ Brown, 5. Could put him ahead of Tyreek Hill.
Certainly, yeah.
Easily. Last year, AJ ranked as 6th. Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 6.
Like it.
Fine. I'm good with that. He was number 7 last year. Malik Neighbors is number 7.
They're buying into the LSU hype. The kid looked good. So,
and obviously last year, not eligible. He was a rookie.
Yeah.
This one's puzzling. Nico Collins is 8. I don't hate Nico Collins, but at 8?
Yeah. Ahead of some names
crazy.
that I know. It's also interesting to me, and maybe he's on the list, but like Nico ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. after, like, I understand we love what Malik did last year, but how do we not equally love what Brian Thomas Jr. did last year?
Brian Thomas Jr. is not inside the top 10.
Feels like a miss.
Rounding out the top 10. At number 9, your darling, Mike Evans.
Hey, I couldn't disagree with that more. Mike Evans is great. He is not a top 10.
He's not a top 10 right now.
Anymore.
He's not a top 10 right now. I can guarantee you that. And then at 10, Garrett Wilson. Fine.
And talent wise, Garrett Wilson certainly belongs there. We already talked about the disrespect for Puka Nacua. The disrespect now of Drake London feels.
Here's they have 6 honorable mentions.
Okay.
It gets even more disrespectful. Terry McLaurin, fine.
So McLaurin was the guy I was about to bring up now.
Yep. Puka, disrespectful to put him as an honorable mention. Get that man inside the top 10. That's easy. Brian Thomas Jr.
I love it.
At least should be 10. Like, at least should be 10.
I'm okay with putting him at 11, but
that's fine.
there were guys
after 1 year, that's fine.
Mike Evans is not a better wide receiver than Brian Thomas Jr.
Exactly.
at this
If
stage.
we're gonna put Malik Neighbors at 7, let's put Brian Thomas Jr. inside the top 10.
Exactly.
DK Metcalf.
No.
Honorable mention?
Yeah.
Like 20, maybe. 25.
Yeah, he's not top 15.
Devontae Adams.
If you're ranking, I'm going to take it a step further though. If you're ranking Mike Evans top 10, Devontae Adams is top 5 by that metric. Like Devontae Adams at this stage is still a better complete wide receiver than Mike Evans is. And this is, again, let me be very clear. Huge Mike Evans guy. Always have, always will. Devontae Adams is a better complete wide receiver than Mike Evans.
And lastly, T. Higgins. Honorable mention.
I've always felt like the narrative on T. Higgins is the NFL likes him more than certainly I do. So I'm not going to argue it, but then I'm going to talk about now another name. We're going pure wide receiver talent. DJ Moore belongs in that list.
The fact Drake London is not even in the honorable mentions is insane.
Drake London is by far the most disrespected player from this entire list. I'm kind of just glancing at my top rated wide receivers.
Oh, hold on. It gets worse.
Oh,
this is a voting system. So also receiving votes.
Okay.
Devonta Smith. Fine. He's not top 10, not an honorable mention, but like received a vote. That's fine. I can deal with that.
Sure.
Lad McConkey. You're damn right. That man received some votes.
I was going to say, I was waiting for you to bring him up.
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
No.
Jamison Williams.
No.
DJ Moore. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Chris Godwin. Yeah, probably one of the better slot receivers in the NFL.
Arguably skill set wise is one of the best. Yeah.
George Pickens.
Okay, whatever.
Again, ball skills.
Joe, you haven't said Drake London yet.
Calvin Ridley.
Oh, Jesus.
Jalen Waddle.
Oh, my God.
Cortland Sutton. Ryan, the list ends there. Drake London didn't receive a vote.
Wow. Well, and when I see stuff like this, that just diminishes the credibility of the entire list. So
these are execs, NFL coaches, and scouts. None of them said, "Oh, let's get Drake."
Not one person said that Drake London is a top 10
You are Dave Canales, and you said, "Oh yeah, Drake London just absolutely bent us over last season. I'm not going to give him a vote."
Well, let's also talk about the fact the Falcons should have been some of those execs. So Drake London should be very upset at his own people right now.
Like maybe you couldn't vote for your own players, but how does that explain Jamison Williams?
Yeah.
How does that explain Jamison?
Who has looked at Jamison Williams like top 10 wide receiver?
It was like, you know what? I got a plan for that guy every week.
Yeah. That's rough.
I
hope Drake London just shoves it in all of them in this season.
I mean, and that's like on ESPN, I watched Get Up. They just showed the top 10. I didn't even see the honorable mentions. I didn't even see the also receiving votes until right now. No Incredible. Drake London. Awful. That's the biggest snub by far. It's not even a question.
Yeah, not close.
So again, if you want to see these things, you can just type in NFL top 10 position and then execs coaches rankings, because there's also like top 10 off-ball linebackers and things like that.
Fun.
So
I might actually, I might dig into that tomorrow.
That's fun. It is fun to go.
Well, you know what? It was fun until they snubbed Drake London, and now the list is meaningless. So,
what are we doing? What are we doing? It made that one made absolutely no sense. But it is fun to look and see what these NFL coaches think, because again, when you are looking at this, if they did rank a guy like Tyreek Hill at 3, it's because, well, they're thinking in their head, oh, well, we have to plan for him every single week. We're scheming around him. It's like, yeah, but like just skill wise, he's not there.
He can do. I said this at the beginning, and someone made a joke about his paternity tests, but I said he can do things. He can do a thing that no one else in the NFL could do. Nobody can catch that ball on a slant and go across the field like Tyreek Hill does. Plain and simple. I get him he's not top 3, but I get him being on this list. Drake London not being on this list is a travesty.
Asinine. Absolutely asinine that man is not on this list. So anyways, just wanted to end with that. That was fun.
Yeah, way to put me in a bad mood as we end the show.
That's my job. That's what What am I good for? All right, next week we're doing a mock draft. Oh,
We
baby.
are.
Oh my God.
A different kind of mock draft. We've never done a draft like this before. It's going to be Joe and I drafting our own teams, but we're auto picking every other pick. So it's just going to be me and you, and we're going to talk out our picks as we're making the picks. So
this is going to be live.
Yeah. Me and you are just going to talk about why we're doing what we're doing. But we're not going to have like other people in the draft. So that way it doesn't take forever. So
great. So we're just drafting against the computer then.
Me and you against the computer, but we're each going to have our own team, and we'll talk about why we're making our picks. So
sure.
Yeah, it should be a fun one.
Awesome. That'll be fun. I hope the computer throws some curveballs our way. I don't think they will.
It will. The ADP is pretty wild. So
great. Beautiful. Well, we're going to do that next week. It'll be a live little mock draft with Ryan and I. No Josh again next week. I will be back for Wednesday. And then ironically, I will spend starting next Thursday. I will spend 3 days in Savannah from July 24th through August 11th.
And then you're out in the world for every other place.
I'm in Philly, St. Paul, LSU. Like
very cool.
So yeah, we're going, but I'll be around on Wednesdays for right now. So
works out.
It works out great. Shout out the Bananas. Shout out my team in St. Louis right now that I am not there. Bananas Party Animals out in St. Louis. They're dealing with that out there. So good luck to them. If you got tickets, congratulations. This was a canceled game. So congratulations if you got those tickets. All right. That was a good show. For Ryan, myself, Josh, who's not here, you can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL, the URL, clubfantasyffl.com. Always remember, defense wins championships, offense wins fantasy football. We will see you next week.